We're live on all our platforms on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Saturday Noon Live with Tara. Just wanted to, as always, see you guys chat and discuss whatever you want to discuss. But I thought a topic on my mind is teenagers. So let's talk teenagers. Anyone out there who has teens, please join the live and please request to come onto the live, because for those of you who are new to this, every Saturday I go live with three people randomly selected from the people who send in requests. You could even be a teenager. So I'm quite happy to also talk to teens. In fact, I even said to our kids, like when we finally get the Tara Sharma Show season 6 back on in its big form, or even here, I said, let's do a chat with you. I'd love you guys to be on and talk about what you as teenagers feel. Because frankly, as parents, often we are just, I won't use the word in the dark, but it's a whole new zone. And when so many people tell me, oh, we used to watch your Tara Sharma show, all the seasons, and especially when in the beginning it was like vlogs when the kids were babies and doing stuff with them, now restarted. I'm like, with teenagers, they're my bosses. I need to ask them, obviously, permission for stuff like that. So, navigating these years is quite something. And it sounds very cliched because everyone says, wait for the teenage years, when people talk about the toddlers and all that. Honestly, every phase, in my opinion, is amazing in its own way. Every phase has its goods, its toughs, and its amazing parts. Um, but I don't think anything quite prepares you for dealing with teenagers. And I'm not some expert. I keep saying that the reason, and I honestly even started the Tara Sharma show 14 years ago, was to be a platform where we could share and learn from each other and help each other. And of course, now it's evolved into talking to inspirational people who are bringing about positive change. But certainly, I want to focus on teenagers now. So tell me, guys, what do you think? How are you handling your teens? Do they have mood swings? Do you feel like you don't know yourself as much as you thought you did? Are you discovering new things about yourself, perhaps even your ability to get angry much more quickly than you thought? The few little things that I've learned before I take people onto the show is are, and there are lots. One is always be around to listen, even if teenagers are shutting you out, closing the door, saying we don't want to talk, or don't get involved, mama, or whatever. Be there. Let them know that you're there. And even if they're kind of rude, which yes, I will admit us are, and I also am back, as is Rupa. So it's not just one sided. But hang in there. Eventually, they do come back and start talking more, even if they've had a little quiet period. Also, I think balancing being a good friend to them and being the parent, the disciplinarian, I think that's really important. Sometimes it's tough to say no and it's tough to have difficult conversations, but I think that has to be done. Sometimes you feel really low about yourself. And I think it's important to discuss those moments with the kids as well. For me, definitely, I think open communication is a huge thing. And now, when I've started researching a lot of, different aspects of, frankly, mental health, I realize more often than not, repressed emotions, or when people feel they can't speak because their parents might get angry, or because their parents are very conservative, or they have a different way of looking at things. I think those repressive feelings can sometimes manifest and become internalized and then act out in different ways. So I'm no expert, so please ask me questions and join in and tell me your points of view. I would love to hear. um, Thank you so much. Hi Dinesh. Hi Prisha. Great to have you here. Hi Voice of the Soul. Hi Vacation Awaits in Gulmarg. Good afternoon, Tara ma'am. I'm Sahil from Kashmir, your skiing instructor. Great to have you here. Uh, uh, Saifu says, hey Tara ma'am, lots of love from Pune. My daughter and son are watching you, and please say their name, Anaya and Nurez. Hi, hi, great to have you all here. So let's see who we're going to take on to the live. And as I said, I'd like today to focus a bit on the teenagers. Um, I'm grappling with it, but I think it's a really fantastic learning experience for all of us. And when the kids actually, like yesterday, I did have a bit of an altercation with the kids, and at one point, after a lot of screaming and shouting, which I'm guilty as charged of doing, um, we had a really good conversation, a full family conversation where we brought up a lot of stuff. And it was actually quite beautiful because I feel like that's really important to get things out. Um, and yeah, I'm exhausted today after all that, but just letting you know. Okay, so let's see who we're going to go live with. Um, so Hi Tarun, how are you from Melbourne? Yes, we're fine. Touch wood. I hope you are too. Of course, I remember. Hi Imtiaz, have all of you. So fab to have you all here. So Wow, Tarun, you're on both platforms, on Insta and on Facebook. So we're talking about teenage years today. So if anyone has a teenage child or wants to talk about their own teenage years, please, I'd love to hear your views. Or we can talk about anything, but it's just something that's really on my mind right now. Because of course we have kids. Vipul, hi! I'm gonna ask Vipul to be on the live. Vipul is one of my amazing makeup and hair people. He is a master, and of course, there's also Ojas and Resi and Ron and Vipul. If you're in a place where you can talk, I'm going to add you on the live. Some people, when I add them on the live, they're like, "No, no, don't add me. I'm in the toilet or something." So send me a message if you can go on the live because Vipul has teenage kids, so he would be a great person also to share some views. Vipul, should I add you? If you can't, then just decline. Okay, I'm trying to add you. Let's see if people can come on the live. Me always doing crazy things, and yeah, I do. I'm guilty as charged of embarrassing the kids a lot. They're like, "Mama, stop doing those stupid cringe videos of dancing and all." So I have to stop doing that stuff. Vipul, are you joining? You have to accept it if you can, and no pressure, of course. Okay, Kuram me. Hi, Anurag. Great to have you here. Okay. No, I don't think Vipul's able to join, but let's see who is gonna go live with us. Sometimes it doesn't go live because of the network, but trying. Maybe we can also go live on Instagram on YouTube. Okay, Vipul is unable to join. Sorry, Vipul. I was just catching you, putting you on the spot. Okay, let's see if Ronak is able to. Yeah, so basically, for anyone who does have tough times with teenagers, I would just like to say, hang in there. I think, showing them that we love them no matter what, explaining what's right and wrong, all these things are really important. It's not always easy at all. And I'm going to have experts on the show so we can ask together because I think that's really important. Hi, how are you? Hi, Abhishek. Or who's on? I don't know. It's not coming through. Or Ronak. Hi, Ronak. How are you? आवाज नहीं आ रहा है. Hi Sam, Samina, Sam, I'm gonna ask you to join. Hello, hi, नमस्ते. आप कैसे हैं? Hi, आप कैसे हैं? आप कहाँ से बोल रहे हैं? Oh, I think the network is a little bit patchy. Yeah, so we were basically talking about teenagers. Sorry, नमस्ते. आप कैसे हैं? कहाँ से बोल रहे हैं? ओ रौनक, मेरे ख्याल से नेटवर्क थोड़ा कमजोर है. Sorry. Bye. Not sure why it didn't happen. So let's see. Sam, are you free to join? We're talking about teenage years and handling teenage mood swings and those kind of things. And I know you have a teenager in the house. And as much as we adore them, of course, we love our kids more than anything and all that. But it's a whole new world, right? Dealing with teenagers and the other way around. I think I'm finding a lot about myself that I need to self reflect. And I think it actually helps us to become better versions of ourselves, because you have to reflect a lot on how you want to be and what you want them to grow up as, or okay, one sec, let me see if I can add. Please let me know if you can go on the live, because I don't want to just add people if they're not wanting to go on. Sam, if you want to join, I saw you here, so please send in the live request if you're free to. Not everyone's free at this moment to go live. So yeah, apart from that, I would say, you know, they do tend to chat less, right? At this age, very often, if you say, "How was school?" Fine. What did you do? Nothing. Where are you going? Out. But I think just being there to even hear that, and not to pester them with too many questions, but to obviously initiate and encourage and be there for when they do want to communicate, is really important. I find that they do actually now. I find that our older one, he went through a phase of being a bit more quiet, and now he chats much more. So I think, it's one of those things that you go through. And yeah, I will admit that the level of fighting and shouting and stuff is also a little bit unnerving sometimes. But again, as I said, I would like to bring some experts onto this chat as well. Hi, Tarun, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Good to see you
Good.
again.
Same to you. Same to you. How's Australia? How's Melbourne?
Cold.
Cold. Yes, you guys have your winter
Yes.
now. Yeah.
Exactly. We're going through winters at the moment.
Yeah. So remind me, how old is your child?
He's 12.
Ah, okay.
Yes,
Hi.
hello.
Hi. So you're on the cusp of teenage years. So how are the preteens going? Hi, how are you?
Hi. Hi. How are you?
Good. Are you doing some work, or are you playing video games?
Just playing video games.
Oh, what do you like to play?
I like playing like the esport games. Esports.
Okay, cool, cool. So our kids also, our younger one plays quite a lot of video games. Older one, not so much. So I think again, every child is different and stuff. So are you feeling? Do you have any thoughts on the pre-teenage years? Do you think your
You're
parents?
going to be teenager.
Do
You're
you,
going to be teenager soon. How do you feel about it? Any changes will be coming up at all? Change high school. High school.
do you
We
do,
don't then middle school.
do you are you do you listen to your parents, or do you fight with them
Yeah.
sometimes, or are you very obedient?
I'm obedient.
Wow. And if you don't agree with your parents about something, do you tell them, or do you just keep it inside, or how do you deal with that if you don't agree with them?
Uh, to say that's okay. I tell them I don't agree, but I don't fight for it.
That's really good. Wow, you seem like you're very calm. That's a great thing. So I don't want to take you away from your video games. You keep playing and having fun. And I know if I did when I do this to my kids, they're like, "Mama, stop it! Don't embarrass us." But have fun and enjoy. And I'll ask your dad.
Hello.
Are you finding anything different with the preteen years? Anything you'd like to
Definitely.
share about it?
You know what happens when they were younger, like 8, 9, 10 and all? They knew about the house, they knew about the school, they knew the people who visit us or we visit them.
Yeah.
They didn't know about any random things in the world.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where we were a little concerned when we're thinking like, just especially living away from the family, friends and all. So in India, you might have your family friend that come and visit you regularly.
Yeah.
So they have such a bond with them. So if we are not home or something required, that someone can come and help you out.
Yes.
We don't have these luxury here.
Yes.
So we were worried like when we work full time,
Yeah.
how are we gonna go to work and leaving them alone just because no one's here?
Yeah.
And another thing was that when you can't spend much time with your kids,
Yeah.
their friends are actually. So
Friends.
you need to know, especially in such age, what sort of friends they are going with.
Yes.
Just because I believe the way my daughter is 18 actually. Sorry, Shavi.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah. So you have pretty much you've gone through a whole teenage, one child going through all the teenagers. Yeah, but that's a very good point to know the friends that your children hang out with. I think that's a very good point. So do you know them quite well?
Yeah, we know them really, really well. That's what we try to do it as we don't have a big community here.
Okay.
So we try to catch up socially a lot with them. So we exactly know what sort of, it's not like investigating or something.
Yeah.
It's more like we just want to know like what sort of people my son is dealing or playing with, talking. He's got his own phone as well.
Yes.
So we need to be a lot of things going on in the world. You know that.
Yes, absolutely.
Since they're on the phone most of the time, you don't know who they're talking with. Even if he's playing game now, sometimes random people come and chat with him. So we even ask him, so if you don't know anyone, you're not going to chat at all.
Yeah.
And we blessed the kids are such kids who listen to their parents. And they understand that what may go wrong if they don't listen to the parents. In here, especially, that what happens around the world. That when living in Australia or any other Western country, you cannot push your kids for something. You can tell them what is right, what is wrong.
Absolutely, yes.
And that's the best you can do as a parent.
Absolutely.
And so if you talk about the concerns when kids turning teen, first concern was like what sort of friends they have. And even if they have good friends, we think like what they've been thinking about like a career, whether it's a sports or the educational career, are they going to get distracted a lot at all, or they're gonna stay on the same path?
That's a very good point. It's a very good point because I think, as you said, not all parents are around the kids all the time. Many people are working, and you need to then know who the kids are hanging out with. And I think this thing about gaming and devices. Interestingly, we had this whole conversation yesterday. We had a big family. I don't know if I'll use the word conference or fight or what it was, but it was a whole discussion, and lots of things were brought up, and included the language, because at this age they are able to be quite rude, and I find we are also able to be quite rude. Like, it's made me analyze and reflect on my own behavior a lot more, because I find that I can get angry very quickly, and there are certain things about myself that I don't like, which I want to change, and they're helping me to find that, and the other way around. But I think this knowing their friends, it's a very important thing. And as you said, in India, a lot of us have family around. Like, my mom lives in the same building and all that. And if you're away and you don't have that, then even more the friends play a big part. So I think that's a very good point. But yeah, I'd love to hear what do you find a lot of difference in your daughter who's 18 and your son who's 12? In every child is different, but at the same age, was your daughter quite similar to your son, or was it very different?
Oh no, they're two different personalities, completely different personalities. I don't know. I have only one daughter, so I don't know how the other daughters behave. But she is been. I don't know. She became mature a bit earlier than him.
Right.
So she was more responsible when she was 13, 12, even 14.
Yeah.
She looks at the things where we need help, even for home or maybe outside. She always a little proactive for those things and showing more emotions as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's a girls' boys thing. I wouldn't try to discriminate with the gender, but I don't know what sort of thing is that. But I think he's 6 years younger than Shavi, but he is pretty, and he doesn't show emotion, but he cares, but doesn't show emotion. So when you require help, he's always there, definitely. But he wouldn't be that person who's gonna sit next to you and ask you how you feeling today, how was your day, what happened today. He's gonna come and just grab his mobile phone, whatever he needs to do that. My daughter will always come and just ask you that questions.
That's interesting, and that might be a gender thing. I mean, we have two boys, so I don't know. But again, I don't know, actually. It may not even be gender. It might just be personality. but I often say to the kids, like, I ask you about your day and what you're up to. You have to ask back, and I think that's also just something that as parents we slowly start inculcating in them. We've got a comment here from advocate Aranya Molik. She says the parents nowadays want to see their kids as a copy of them minus their faults. These expectations can be dangerous. So I think maybe sometimes that might be the case, but I think more often than not, from my experience, I feel you want your kids to just be the best versions of themselves. And I feel like I also want to be the best version of myself. I don't feel like now that I have kids, I am now in some retirement home at all. I feel like my life is also beginning. I'm very focused on my own career and the things I want to do. Sometimes I even say to the kids, sometimes because their words can be quite hurtful at this age because they're very perceptive. So if I say something like, don't be on the gadget so long, they'll say it right back to me, but you're on the gadget so long. Or if I say, work really hard and, do what you love and it'll help you, they actually say to me, you work so hard and, are you very successful? Not really. So they can really, they're very sharp. And I sometimes I'm like, it makes me all these questions and thoughts I have about redefining what is success. Success means different things to different people. I think for all of us to be healthy and happy, touch wood, for me, that's become my definition of success. And I think so, yeah, I don't think we want the kids just to be us. I think we perhaps want them to be better than us, just in terms of better versions of themselves, actually, I would say. But it's a good comment. And we have a few more comments here. Um, we have dear Yuvraj, who has several times written boring. So I think, Yuvraj, then you should leave. Unless, are you a teenager who would like to share your views? Please share.
Maybe he's having those conversations at home already a few times.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be a part of it anymore.
Yeah. That's what I mean. One of us, our older son, is at a MUN, a Model United Nations at the moment, but I wanted him to join. And I'm going to do a call, like a chat like this one day with the kids. And our younger son he's with some friends, so he's not joining. But I actually think it's so good to talk to kids and hear their perspectives too. Because I know there are times they're like, oh my God, my parents are so annoying and they're so frustrating and all that. So let me see if there's anyone else who wants to say anything. I think another thing, and I see Kai's football coach here, and I want to say, in fact, it was a good timing because I really think sport is also a very helpful thing. I think if kids are involved with anything that they're passionate about, I think it helps them because also it helps to be away from the screen, but also I think it helps to channel and focus that energy not just in an academic way but also on something they're passionate about and learning other skills too, like teamwork and inclusion and all that. So do your kids play much sport?
Yeah, he does actually. He plays soccer.
Oh, great.
And he plays soccer for his school, and he is very good with the Rubik cubes as well. What's your
excellent
fastest you've done? 6 seconds. 6 seconds only. It's so
wow, that's amazing. So I think all these things now, kids have so many opportunities to do these different things and share and learn from devices as well. So I think there's pros and cons even of how much we can learn from the outside world. So that's so cool, and thank you so much for joining. It was really lovely. And
thank you very much,
these are impromptu chats which we don't plan, but I sometimes think that's the best because people just speak from their heart.
I just came back home from work and I saw you online, so let's go. And I saw Phil playing. He has a good time to talk.
Yeah, nice, great. So for those of you who joined later, Taran and his son are in Melbourne in Australia, and they've been talking to us. We were talking about teenagers, preteens, and all that goes with that. Thank you so much for joining. Take care. Bye. 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 Thank you. Bye. That was so lovely. And we'll go live with one more person. So anyone who'd like to join, please send in a request. And sorry, I'm not able to take everyone on the live. Here, Krishna saying, tell me your experiences working in archery. I'm I don't do work in archery, but my dad used to do some archery when he was alive. Um, okay, let's see who else we can go live with very quick, talking about teenage years. And I'm so sorry. Like I said, I can't go live with everyone, but if I'm able to, and I'd love to hear your views. Um, Not even just about teenagers, it could also be about younger kids or your own experiences when you were kids. Were you able to talk to your parents and tell them how you felt? Were you able to express if you were not in agreement with them? Did you have to keep it, closed? Or let me know what your thoughts are on dealing with teenage and preteens. Okay, let's go live with one more person and then I should let you go. Um, no, I'm not able to. Okay. I'm going to go live with Monisha. She is extremely, extremely inspiring. She has a beautiful daughter who, hi, I let her explain. Let's see if it's actually gone live. Hi, how are you?
Very good, very good. It's so nice to have you do this topic. It's just something where I'm in the midst of right now dealing with.
Yes, so I'd love to hear your views from you. If you'd like to introduce yourself to our audience, this is, as you know, a very
Sure.
spontaneous, impromptu live. Nothing is scripted or planned. But yeah, please let everyone know about your amazing kids and about you.
So this is not the first time I'm meeting you, Tara. We've
Yes.
done a Saturday live earlier, and that was about Kia, my youngest daughter.
Yes.
I'm a mother of two daughters. Both are in fact my eldest has turned into an adult this month. So I have a teenager and an adult in the house now.
Wow.
And today I actually wanted to, not speak about Kia. So Kia is my youngest and she suffers from a debilitating rare disease. Some people who know me, they know about it.
Yes.
But today is not about Kia at all. In fact, I wanted to talk about Naira, and Naira is now graduated from being a teen to a, young adult. And it's an amazing, I think, journey, and a very confusing one, honestly,
Yes.
for I think most parents, because kids nowadays are so smart, and it's nice to, I think, grow with them. That's been my experience.
Yeah.
Because as a parent, nobody comes with a manual, right? Leave alone a special child or not a special child. So it's been like a very diabolic experience for me. But Tara, I have more questions than answers. I would love to know how others are dealing with their teens. I see you doing an amazing job.
I
You
don't
call
know
yourself
about
a
that.
soccer mom.
Trust me, I don't know about that. There are days when I promise, I actually, literally, honestly, sometimes I'm reduced to tears and I'm like, what am I doing? I don't know if I'm doing a good job. I don't know. And what gives me some strength is to know that we're not alone, that everybody is not really an expert. Everybody is figuring it out and doing their best. And the kids, they test us, and we also test ourselves and test them because we are trying to do the best we're able to do. And I think sometimes what I've realized, and I completely agree, is that we're growing with them, we're learning with them. And what I've actually found is that it's nice to also admit when we've done wrong. I feel like if I've like shouted too hard, or I've been too strict, or I've said something that might have hurt them, which does happen because sometimes I'm not able to control my own anger if they've said something to me, or is to actually take accountability for that and say that yes, I'm sorry I did this. And because I find that sometimes the fine line of parenting and discipline and being accountable is very blurred. Sometimes people feel that it's too vulnerable to say sorry because they are the boss, or the other way around. And yesterday my older son actually said something which made me think. He said, but mama, don't always be so quick to say sorry. It's not always a good thing. Sometimes you have to really reflect and think Are you really sorry about something? And do you really mean it? So it's very interesting because it made me also question.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. They're so smart, Tara. And the funny part is that if you put them into their shoes, right, whether it's a teenager or a young adult, and you just look around, I think the startling fact has been for me that they're exposed so much more than each of us are, right, when we were growing up.
Yes.
And you never know how that exposure has been impacting and shaping their minds from a very young age. It's something that I think even psychologists today are, they're having a tough time trying to figure this out, because social media, be it friends coming from different backgrounds, just generally everything around, everything is known today. There's nothing that is hidden or can be tabooed from anyone.
Absolutely.
And I think that exposure, I don't know how good or bad it is, but we somehow have to exist within that and still make it work.
Absolutely. But I think again, because I get scared of that as well, because we don't know actually what we're up against. We don't even know the physical impact of having these gadgets in our hands. Today I was saying to my one of the kids, I was like, please, don't even hold it for so long, because we don't know. It's frightening. Having said that, I think on the flip side, with my quest to always try and be an eternal optimist, I think because there's so much more information out there, so much more knowledge, I think it's also possible to understand certain behaviors and find out why things are happening in a certain way and get the right help. So, just as an example, certain mental health, and I'm not saying in a negative way, but there are certain triggers or certain things that if you actually look it up, and I've been doing that quite a lot, researching, there are actually very clear things like 10 I don't know, 10 signs of this or 10 signs of that, or 10 ways to better this or 10 ways to better that. And while some of it may not apply, some of it is actually very helpful. So like I said, this whole thing about taking accountability and stuff, I mean, it's something I read up about. And, different things that if you want to change in your children to start doing young and in ourselves. I think one of the things about our generation is that we're a lot more open. There's a lot of open communication. My parents were very open minded, and we did have a lot of open communication. But I do know a lot of people that are very close to me. Parents' word is parents' word, and it is considered disrespectful if you don't listen to the parents. And while I know culturally that is how we've all been kind of brought up, I'll be honest, because I'm half English, maybe somewhere culturally, I don't associate respect just with age. To me, respect has to be earned. I don't feel because somebody is a older family member, just because of that, they suddenly need some big respect. I think it has to be earned. And I don't know if that's cultural or what, but so sometimes if the kids are rude to me, I can't be hypocritical and then change my stance that, listen, I'm your mother, you better be nice. Because I have to earn that respect at some level, right? So it's a balancing act constantly, because
and I think also, Tara, every word you're saying is so true. Every word. I think that is the baseline of any relationship. And parenting, I think it is, it's built on that, right? At the end of it. At least in today's times, more than anywhere else in any part of the world, I think most parents are pretty much on the same plane. It's no more that it's like a global village we are in right now. And somewhere I believe that kids today need more of a friend, more than somebody to tell them what is wrong or right, because that information is already there out there.
That's very true. That's very true. I completely agree. But I do think also the discipline angle has to be. And I mean, for me, I'll be honest, I'm less of the disciplinarian because they don't listen to me as much. Rupak, my husband, when I really need some hardcore support, he has to step in and, really kind of, I mean, sometimes I have to really be really tough about certain things. And I know that you are also a single mom, so I would like to hear your perspective on that. To play both roles is very hard. Yes.
Yeah, very, very difficult being a single mom, because I think that, good cop, bad cop, so, that angle goes missing completely. It's so difficult to be strict and a friend being in the same body, and that's, I think, the name of the game of single parenting, right? We think it's so easy that, you're not happy in a relationship, let's break it, let's move out, but I think that partnership that happens in a marriage is scientifically for a reason when you're trying to have a child and parent.
To do it for both.
Well, because that's how it works well, and that's how I think most of us know how to do it well. But you don't have any Bible manual, nothing. It's just the kids, and the parent. I think in case of a single, parenthood, I think that's where. I don't know. So maybe the friendship has to be thicker so that, and the dialogues have to be more, the understanding levels have to be supreme, because otherwise, and that's where the maturity kicks in, I think, much earlier for the kids, because then they realize the vacuum that is there, and that we all have to fill it in together. That's how it is.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of responsibility. I wish I had enough words to say it. It's a lot of responsibility which neighbors, relatives, even close friends, very few people can actually, pardon my French, but button and help.
Yeah.
It's a very, very fine, very fine line.
No, but
I
really sending you so much, love and support, because I know really you have so much on your plate and you really do handle it all so impressively. I also having an older sibling, you're talking of Naira, who has a younger sibling with a very severe, disability, who's thriving. But how does that dynamic work? How do you manage to ensure that one is not, honestly, for want of a better word, but one is not given way more attention than the other? How do you balance that and make sure they both feel equally important and special? Is that something that you grapple with, or does that happen quite naturally?
No, absolutely. No, absolutely, Tara. I grapple with it all the time. And I think the only way that I know how to do it well is, so as a human being, I think first, and then a mother next. I think no human being can handle, a very high-end task or many high-end tasks together at the given time, right? So I do it one after the other. So I have to prioritize. When I have to prioritize for Kia, I will prioritize, her needs. Then I have to park her, stabilize her, and then I can focus on Naira. So I've been taking turns. Very honestly, I've been taking turns. That's the only way that I've been sailing through. And then I also have to make time for myself, right?
Yes.
Because it doesn't work otherwise.
Absolutely.
It just doesn't work otherwise.
No, in fact, I was going to say that in all relationships, I think boundaries and also taking care of yourself are so important. I want to also do, honestly, an episode on in-laws, because I think it's a very interesting relationship. I don't want to be personal, and I don't want to talk about personal situations in general, but I think it's a very, if you look at the whole concept of in-laws, it's a relationship that's thrust onto you both ways, where you've not necessarily chosen, or the other way around, but suddenly, especially in an Indian context, everyone's his family, and it's a very interesting concept, because the other day I was talking to one of my dear makeup artists, and she was telling me in her Catholic, in their community, they don't call their in-laws mom or dad or anything like that. They continue to say auntie or uncle, because they don't think of it as suddenly one family in the same way. And it was very interesting to me, because even for me, the English side of my family, there is still, you don't do that. In India, it's like suddenly you are the, and so I feel like, frankly, and this is again something that I've slowly, as we get older, we learn about ourselves. I think with all kindness and respect and love, boundaries in life are very important. Boundaries to protect yourself, boundaries to protect your immediate family, and to kind of, even with friends or with anyone, to be the best version of yourself. And some people are able to have everyone, it's like a small thing, right? Like many of us live now in nuclear families, right? And the concept of having a lot of people to stay or whatever else may not be as it is maybe in a bigger joint family, right? So to feel like, am I being a bad person if I'm not able to do this, or am I being unkind? I think these are things that we all need to start rethinking and understanding that every individual is different. And if you put your points across in a kind way, we have to appreciate and understand everyone's different points of view. That's why one of the things that happened after starting the Tara Sharma show is people kept saying my tagline became each to their own, because actually one of the biggest discoveries from speaking to so many different people is that we're all so different and yet we're all the same. There's so much, to not judge but to respect each other and to stand up for yourself. I think it's very important, even
No,
with our
Tara,
parenting.
you weren't spot on, and I think you need to talk about these because if you have noticed what the younger generation has started thinking is, let's not marry, let's not have kids, because they're not being able to decipher these finalities of things, if you know what I'm trying to say. These relationships are so deep, they're so age old, and there is this thing called a gen gap, right, which has just been growing and growing and growing, and there are very few bridges. Unless you come from a educated, open-minded family, these bridges actually don't exist in society, right? Go to the suburban areas, go to the rural areas. These divides have become like unbridgeable today. And you have the rural folk coming to the cities. They are the ones who work in and work into our houses as maids and drivers, and ultimately it's affecting the entire ecosystem if you look at it, because we depend on them, and the more nuclear we get, the dependencies are growing. So I think it needs to be talked about at every level, because what do these relationships ultimately mean? What are the positives of these? What are the negatives?
But I must say, it's
Right?
yeah, absolutely. But it's interesting that you talk about house help, and because I find that I sometimes chat to our house help frankly about how do they manage their kids. If I'm fighting with mine, I'm like, how do you manage and all, because you know one of our help has similar aged kids, and it's interesting that these things are quite universal, a lot of them, and you can get so much help from understanding both ways that how people deal. And also going back to the relationship with in-laws and things, I was very actually, I don't want to use the word impressed in the wrong way, but she was saying to me that she actually stood up and voiced discontent at being treated in a certain way. And I was so proud in my own way to think, because that culturally to be able to do that is huge. But there's so much to chat about and so much to say. So I would love to have this longer conversation and have more people on. I think this is a huge space. Teenage years, family dynamics, cultural, what comes from the heart and what feels forced. I think in life, more often than not, like we all say, when you do things from the heart, it's real. When you do things because you are meant to, or because society says you need to, it is never really real. And I think to manage to get our kids, because it's a fine line, right? There's certain things we want them to do because we're their parents, but then there's certain things that we want them also to do just because they feel it. So I think there's just so much to say. So I won't go on, but it was so lovely chatting. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
joining.
Tara. As always.
Thank you. Always a
Always a
pleasure.
pleasure meeting.
And lots of love to the girls. And thanks so much for joining.
Thank you. Have a good time.
Take
I'll
care.
be
Same
listening.
to
I'll be
you.
listening.
Thank
Bye.
you. Same to you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
So thanks so much, everyone. This was so impromptu and wonderful, and we'll do many more chats like this. Um, so it's absolutely wonderful. No, sorry, I don't see Chetan. Don't worry. I'm sure Kamalji did not mean that. It's just that I don't see all the people asking to go live, because I only take 3 people onto the live each time. But this was such a wonderful conversation, and I would love to have more chats. If you have any thoughts on how we can navigate these teenage years together and help each other. And also, as I said, cultural, family dynamics, setting boundaries, mental health awareness, all kinds of things like that. Please write in and join the lives. And on that note, have a fabulous day, everyone. Thank you for joining. Yes, Advocate, I saw you said that there should be designated time for screen time. I completely agree. And lots of great suggestions coming in. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Have a fabulous day. And thanks, Rudranj. Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, Vishwa. Ta-ra, ta-ra, ta-ra. Bye, everyone. Thanks, everyone who joined on YouTube and Facebook too. I'm going to try and edit this so that we put it there as well. Ujjani says peer pressure also plays a major role in the teenage phase. At times, it's tough to explain the boundaries to your child when the others are allowed to cross those same boundaries. I completely agree. That's a very good point. And Ujjani, I think there's some things that one has to sit down with kids and say, look, we actually end up saying, we're not concerned about the others. Yes, we care for them, they're your friends or whatever, but you are our kids, you're our responsibility. We need to give the values that we want you to have to you. So thank you so much for that comment. And thank you all so much for joining. It was a lovely, lovely chat. Thanks again, Tarun and Flynn, and all of you who joined in. Ta-ra, ta-ra, ta-ra. Bye. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thank you. Thanks, Krishna. Thanks, Arya. Thanks, Anurag. Bye.